I'm gon' ride, we gon' ride, who gon' slide, we gon' slide, they my guys, they my slimes.
Clip up the ride out.
I'm gon' ride, we gon' ride, who gon' slide, we gon' slide, they my guys, they my slimes.
All out when we ride out.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is our reaction to Vergil Ortiz Jr. versus Kavaliauskas. Now, I'm going to turn it over to you, Trill Dollar Bill. What was your reaction to the fight?
Okay. Respect to Kavaliauskas. Respect to him because he's the type of fighter, he's going to come out and he's going to give it all he got. He even said that before the fight. He said it, this fight ain't going the distance. Either, you know what I'm saying, I'm getting knocked out or I'm knocking somebody out. You know what I'm saying? And, he went in there and tried to give it all he got, and that's what's up. Shout out to Vergil Ortiz, though. He's a dog. He's a dog. Garcia's, they got something over there. And it was so funny because it was crazy. He had Robert's dad in his corner, and while I was watching this fight, I said that Vergil Ortiz in this fight, for some odd reason, reminded me of a young Fernando Vargas in that fight. And to go and look in the corner, and who's in the corner? Fernando Vargas' trainer. That's Robert Garcia's dad. He was in the corner because Garcia was at the fight. He was on Franco's corner with the fight with him and Maloney. But good fight from Vergil Ortiz. He's the type of fighter, when I say he remind me of a young Fernando Vargas, like when you hit him and you hurt him, you just make him more mad and you make him more dangerous and more ferocious. So that's what was my assessment. Every time he hurt, Vergil Ortiz came back and hurt him even worse. So shout out to Vergil Ortiz. I want to see what he does next. 18-0 with 18 KOs. The future looks bright for the kid. Look, it's a couple of things he's going to have to work on. I know he wants TC. There's a couple of things he needs to work on as far as defense and everything. But he's a dog. He's a warrior. You hit him, you better get out the way because he's going to hit you harder and he's going to come back even harder. That jab was amazing. That jab, I can't wait to go back in there and get in the gym with my brothers, man, because all I want to do is just throw a whole bunch of power jabs. I was like, wow, how he was, man, that jab was amazing. He dropped him with like a 1-2-1. I thought was amazing, right? And man, listen, I just thought that this kid, he looked great. He looked great, and he just showed he's a dog and he's a warrior, and I just want to see more.
All right, Conspiracy G.
Yeah, so this is my love for boxing. I was actually at a wedding yesterday, and I'm literally watching the fight at the wedding. Like, got my phone, and I'm just like watching people walking by, looking at me like, and I'm like, hey, whatever, yo. You know what I'm saying? But salute to the newlyweds and all that good stuff. But what I'll say is this, man, what is it called? Kavaliauskas was the machine, right?
Mean Machine, yeah.
That machine was a little rusty, bro, because he was getting beat up. Golly, man. I was like, bro, this kid Ortiz ain't no joke. Like, Kavaliauskas, man, salute to you. You gave a good effort, but it was bad. It ain't, this name sounds familiar. Who is Kavaliauskas? Did Kavaliauskas fight TC before?
Yeah.
He rocked TC.
He dropped TC.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, it was, but it didn't count. You know what I mean? All right. So I do want to see Ortiz versus TC now. You know what I mean? Because it was a good comparison. You know what I mean? Kavaliauskas got outclassed. He got volleyed. It was one-sided violation. Like, maybe I think the second round he did good. After the second round, it was clearly just one side. It was just Ortiz all night. So I do want to see Ortiz versus Crawford. I think it'll be a good matchup. TC should win. But again, he might not take that fight. I think he should. Hey, you can get a bag from the zone. the zone likes to throw away money. So, take the big bag. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just saying, and people would like to see that fight because they will use this fight as a comparison, and so he should capitalize off of this, and TC, man, getting that ring with Ortiz, man, people want to see that.
All right, Ned.
I actually didn't get to see the fight. The time difference was too much for me, actually.
Ned's in Portugal, so Ned didn't get to. I dig it. You just found out that they got different types of outlets out there.
You don't know how to use TVs, you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to the Garcias, man. They're doing a wonderful job out there with those kids, man. Every time you see those kids, they getting better and better. The Francos, the Ortizes, everybody they got out there, Osnard, they really take their time and got love for these fighters out there, really taking their time with them fighters. So shout out to the Garcias.
Yeah, now this was to me a beautiful thing to watch. All I kept hearing from people was Kavaliauskas was so good. I was underestimating Kavaliauskas. He was so good. It's not that I don't think Kavaliauskas is good, but there are levels to this. And that's what you saw with Vergil Ortiz Jr. versus Kavaliauskas. Kavaliauskas landed a good shot. He hurt Ortiz. And then from that moment on, Ortiz started putting the fire on that dude. And that's just what I've been trying to tell everyone. Like, Kavaliauskas is a good fighter. People, he's an Olympian. You don't know what you... So every Olympian's good now? Every Olympian's good now. That's what... Every Olympian's good in the pros now. That's what we're selling. Okay? Being an Olympian doesn't necessarily translate to pro success. Look at my man, David Reed. Everybody was all, David Reed was supposed to... Tito went and got him. What'd he do? Tito had to put that work in on him. You can name so many people who were in the Olympics, and I'm not taking nothing away from Kavaliauskas. Kavaliauskas came in shape. He dropped TC. He hurt Vergil Ortiz Jr. Those are going to make for some good stories in the gym for him. But in the end, TC was a cut above, and so was Vergil Ortiz Jr. That's just it. There's levels to this. So what Vergil Ortiz proved is at a young age, at 23 years old, he's on that level. Because y'all value Kavaliauskas so much, told me he was so great, and he was all this. Verge did him in. So please keep that same energy for Verge when he beat Kavaliauskas that you have for Kavaliauskas when TC beat Kavaliauskas. What people don't mention about Kavaliauskas is...
And he did it a round sooner too, my brother.
I was getting there. What people don't mention about Kavaliauskas is the fact that when he went into the Terrence Crawford fight, he was actually coming off of a draw from fighting Ray Robertson. Not Sugar Ray Robertson, just a man named Ray Robertson. The same man named Ray Robertson who beat Terrence Crawford in the amateurs, by the way. But anyways, before he fought Terrence Crawford, he fought Ray Robertson, and it was a draw. Rather than him doing a rematch with Ray Robertson, somehow TC's team selected to fight Kavaliauskas over fighting Ray Robertson, the man who beat him in the amateurs, by the way. Remember, they just fought each other. It was a draw. They picked Kavaliauskas. Kavaliauskas gets in the ring with TC, drops TC. TC beats him, and everyone tells me he's this great fighter that I'm overlooking. So now let's talk about it. Kavaliauskas has a draw with Ray Robertson. Is Ray Robertson some world beater that I don't know about? No. He has drawn with Ray Robertson. He lost to TC, and he just lost to Vergil Ortiz. And this is what I'm talking about, levels. People hype up TC's opponents and do all this, but there's levels to this. At the end of the day, Vergil Ortiz Jr. was able to do something that TC did at a much younger age in more impressive fashion. Trill pointed it out. He did it around sooner. And what I like about it is when they asked Vergil Ortiz about it, he said it doesn't mean anything, different styles, different fighters, different everything. So to me, what that symbolizes is actually something great for Terrence Crawford. He has a legitimate opponent now, and he needs options. And now he has one. Because remember, we're talking about TC. It's like, who's he going to fight? Who's he going to fight if he's not going to fight the PBC guys? Well, it's looking like Sean Porter is there. And, you know, I believe that they'll work it out. And you got Sean Porter, and then you got this guy. And you got some options. So if you're TC, things are looking up for you. Because this kid just made himself a legitimate win that no one can take away from you because of his performance with Kavaliauskas. And he did it faster than you did. And he's 18-0 with 18 knockouts. And he got a victory over Maurice Hooker, too. So this kid is looking good. This kid is moving along. He's a solid fight. He's a solid fight for Terrence Crawford. And that's what you need. You need options. So the winners of last night was Vergil Ortiz and Terrence Crawford and boxing fans across the world, because this is now a fight that we're all intrigued about, and we like and even if you like Terrence Crawford to win this fight, you're now looking at Vergil Ortiz like he's a legitimate threat. So, beautiful thing.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe, and check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.